Hello, I am live again. I gotta move my mannequin around because nobody can see the awesomeness that is mosquito behind me. Just wanted to go back on live again. I was quickly on. I was on another one, and then I had a little something I had to take care of, so I ended it real quick, only 7 minutes long, and that's super fast for me because I'm a talker. So I thought I'd come back on and talk about reseller pet peeves. You know, oh boy, pet peeves. I had one come up recently that I I told a friend of mine, and she says you've got to do a video on that. I said, I don't know. I'm kind of new at this. I don't know what people want to hear from me, but I got opinions. I've got thoughts. I have a lot. Actually, I have a lot of opinions. Actually, let me rephrase it. I got some really strong opinions about what's going on in the reseller community, and how I want to approach what I'm doing compared to what I know to be taking place. And I say that because I have watched hours and hours of video, and I've learned, it's interesting because I've learned so much for free right on YouTube about strategies and knowledge that I just didn't have. And, it isn't even, do I want to go spend a bunch of money and go get training like I used to when I was like younger? Businesses were always sitting into a training session or a training class or a conference. It's a lot of money to be trained. And these days you can find out so much good information on YouTube. Now you have to always consider the source. It's not perfect information, but it's, terrific information that's out there. And, I want to kind of be one of the people who's also giving good information, and the people are finding it useful and things like that. But there's some things I've heard lately that really bother me, and they bother me because of the framework around which the information is being provided is being shared. Like, it's framework that doesn't ring professional to me. And I'll give you an example. So several people lately have been using the word greedy a lot. And the first time I heard it, I'm like, wait, what? What? I'm being greedy? What? Wait, this is not the right word for business, right? Not in the context of what we're trying to do and how it was used. So lately, a lot of people have been using the word greedy if, say, you don't take an offer on something. They said, don't be greedy. Don't be greedy. I'm like, really? This is not the right word. This is not the right word for what's going on. What you're really talking about is, do you want to shrink your margins in order to take the sale? That's what that's about. Do you want to have a different strategy for moving your merchandise by having, not waiting for the big payoff, right? It's strictly a preference, and it's strictly a strategy. It's a business strategy, but it's not being greedy. I've heard two people use this word. I'm like, I just want to smack them. I'm like, greedy? That is the wrong word. It is the wrong word. If I decide not to sell this amazing jacket to someone for $100, am I being greedy? Heck no. I'm holding out for the premium amount that I know that jacket can garner for me. But I'm not being greedy. I'm holding out for, it's my strategy. It's a business strategy. So I absolutely agree 100% that you can perhaps do a lot better with your business because you are having smaller margins and moving things quicker. Absolutely. This is what grocery stores do. A grocery store chain survives on small margins and high volume. And I know this because I worked at a brokerage firm right out of college, and the analyst I worked with covered food chains, grocery store chains. And part of how they evaluate their business is, cash flow is really key, but they also have high turnover on a can of peas, but maybe they're making 5 cents. I mean, think about that. So it's no different. The cash flow and your margin for reselling is any other business. This is a business. It is for me. Plenty of people are just selling things out of their closet. They don't realize that it can be a business for them. It's just something they're doing on the side. But this is a business. It is a business for me. So what I want my margins to be is totally my choice. And I think there's different ways to do it. There's different strategies. And my latest strategy is to hold out for top dollar on particular things, very rare things, things that I know that I can find a premium purchaser for. And then other things, just move them on through. Just move them on through. So if I don't take an offer, I'm not being greedy. I'm just want a different margin, right? But you absolutely, there's a strategy where you can turn more, your volume will be a lot heavier if, you take a lower profit, right? I mean, we all know that. It's about profit margin. It's about moving the inventory. And I saw someone talk recently about how they sold $10,000 in a month on Poshmark. It was a wonderful video because her strategy was, I'm going to take every offer that comes no matter what, unless it's so egregious that I just can't. Like $10 for something, she has 100. And as a result, she sold $10,000 in a month. I thought that was genius. It's a genius strategy. That's someone who's saying, I'm going to let my margins be less and my volume be higher and see what happens. And look, she had this terrific month. I think that's genius. But I think the word greedy in the context of whether or not you take an offer or not is absolutely inappropriate and incorrect. It is a wrong use of the term. And, it's almost a biblical term in a sense. And, what you decide your margins to be is totally upon you. So yeah, some of my pet peeves. I don't like hearing the word. I don't like the use of the word. I think the word is out of context. And it's a way to frame what we do in an unprofessional way. We are business people who are deciding what our profit margin will be on any given item at any given time. So that's one of my pet peeves. And I'm just telling you because I'm new at here and I got some strong, really, really, really strong opinions about what I've seen and what I've listened to. And there's a lot of good information out there, but the framework with which some of this has been shared is really concerning to me because, it just sets a tone. It sets forth a way to view what we're doing that's, to me, not productive. I think the most productive thing that we can do as resellers is to band together, be a strong voice, and really see what's going on in our industry and continue to be aware of it and perhaps even, lobby for, there is noise going on outside. I had a rumble the other day, I'm here in California and then I always get these little rumbles and it's like, there was an article today about all the mini earthquakes that go on, like a couple of million that have happened in the last 10 years. And I'm always feeling rumbles. And I keep thinking, is that a truck driving by? But chances are there's no trucks that really drive by on my street. So it's rumbles. But anyway, so that's one of my pet peeves. I got lots of pet peeves, but I really think that people need to kind of think about their terms. Hey, I got somebody on the chat. Let's see who it is. It's Joanna Parrish. How are you? Just saw my soul video. Thank you. You left a comment. I really appreciate it. Yeah, $625, and they've both been paid for. Two little things. I love the big ticket item and the Laura Croft. Hold on, I'll get it. It's still right here. The Laura Croft jacket that I sold for $125. Definitely could have gotten more, but guess what? I wasn't gonna be greedy. No, I'm just kidding. I decided to let it go because this is real. Who wants an 80s puffer jacket? This is not a lot of people lining up to buy this. And so that's why I went ahead and let it go and let my margins be less on this item. It's just the proper way to say it. I reduced my margins in order to move it. And I think, it's something we should all think about, is reducing our margins to move something and being smart people. And that's about being, what that is? Reducing your margins and selling more on volume is because you're being smart and you're being strategic about your business. It is not because you've been greedy. And if I keep hearing that word, I'm going to keep telling people how inappropriate it is for what we do. It is just not the right word, my pet peeve. Anyway, good afternoon. NASCAR man, how are you? Let's see. Oh, NASCAR man's name is Derek. I'm doing a little sleuthing on the chat. So, well, hello, welcome. I don't think I've seen you on here before. To celebrate, I'm going to take a sip in my my little cup made of polka dots. So, yeah. So I want to know what your guys' pet peeves are, because I got a lot of them, but only one I want to go through today. But yeah, using the wrong language to frame what we're doing. I understand how it happens because, reselling is, there's so many people that are reselling who don't realize that, they that are doing it full time, that you actually are a business, that you are running something that, that if you run it professionally and you think about it professionally, chances are it's going to grow more. You take care of your business. Wait, there's a comment. Hold on. I hate when someone offers a 50% of my asking. Those low ballers, man. Yeah, it sucks. And you know what? You just have to, a couple of ways to do that is you got to stay firm, because some people are just testing you. And there are things that I will absolutely take there. Here's what I've learned about offers. If somebody's making you an offer, it's basically, I'd say 99.9%, it's a guaranteed sale, right? Because on eBay, people, when you make an offer, you're basically saying you want to buy it. And the same thing on Poshmark, unless the credit card doesn't go through, which is a different thing. So you got to ask yourself, this isn't just a joke. This is a real offer to buy at a real price. Do I want to sell it at that price? And what you call low ballers, what we all call low ballers. There are times I will take a low offer because what the person who's doing the offer doesn't know is how old that merch is. They don't know how I feel about that merch. They don't know if it's in my buy, sell, trade bag, to get rid of at the Buffalo Exchange because nobody wanted it. Like, they don't actually know what's going on. They don't know how you're going to react. And so I think the key thing to do as a seller is to ask yourself, are the margins I'm going to make on that item enough for me at this time? And if it's not, you act accordingly. If it is enough, just get rid of it. On eBay, you can have settings where you can automatically decline offers that you don't even see them. You won't even see it unless it's a serious offer and it hits a certain threshold, a percentage or a certain amount on your item. They don't have that on Poshmark, and I really wish they would. It's a shame they didn't instigate that when they first created offers, because, now the offer button isn't even an option, and it should be. And so there's a new way of moving merch on Poshmark. But I actually, on one hand, I really would like to see, as sellers, us have more control over that. But I can also see why they did it that way, because it's kind of tricky. They're being kind of tricky. It kind of forces sales. It forces a lot more sales. And I'm sure if they did some sort of analysis of their sales before and after the offer button, I'm sure it's exponentially higher. And the offer really does stimulate sales. And in the end, that's really what we want, right? We really want to move it. So I think what I've done is I've adopted the model where I have things that I'm holding out for hot top dollar on, and I have things that I'm just moving. So that way I'm not trapped in one thing. I have the luxury to do both. So like these shoes that I sold for $500, awesome, cool shoes. I held out. I held out for 5 years. I've had these things for 5 years in my inventory. Um, but I wanted to get 1,000 because this brand is just off the charts. Mason Martin Margiela, if you don't know them, they are super funky, super cool, and very. I mean, all their shoes are $1,000 or more. So I didn't get it, but I'm not complaining at $500 at all. I could have held out for more, but what's actually helped me is to reduce my margins and to not hold on so tightly or be greedy, as people like to call it. It's about making a decision, and my sales are so much better because I'm not holding on so tight and countering so aggressively on eBay, because you just push the sales away. And so that's really not the point. The point is to move it. The point is to get it out of here. The point is to have some cash flow. And the point is to do it enough to where there's some consistency and you can rely on it. Okay, always counter at 50%, but it's like $5 below. I'd take it. Absolutely. A lady offered 5 on a pair of earrings I had at 12, countered at 9, and she bought it. Absolutely. A lot of people are just testing you. I mean, and why not? And the reason is, I think they do it because you've got like a 50-50 chance of somebody saying yes, right? What is it worth? What does it matter? But I know that what people don't realize who do that is what it feels like on the other end to get a lot of offers that way. Now on eBay, we have the power to change that. But I kind of like to hear from people anyway. I kind of like to know, what are they thinking? I kind of like to get an idea of that and go ahead and let the offer come through, even if it's low. And I don't know, I like knowing that people are interested in what I have, getting a sense of what they're willing to pay, because maybe I'm off. Maybe I'm not correct. Maybe it's not worth as much as I think it is, or maybe it's, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of, there's no hard and fast rules. This is the thing. It's very fluid. It's very gray. And I think that people have to use their best judgment. What I did do, the man who bought the Laura Craft jacket, he lowballed me. And I went back to him and I said, I can't offer the jacket at that price and give you free shipping, but I can do it this price and still give you free shipping. And then he wrote back and he says, well, I just don't want to pay that. I want to pay this. And I said, well, if you want to pay this, you got to pay shipping. And then he says, well, I'll give you this much, including shipping, which told me the guy wanted the jacket regardless. Right. And so we went back and forth on that. And I just, in the end, I'm like, fine, take it. Just take it, get it out of here. I doubled my money even after fees. I'm happy. It's great. It's a good day. But, and I think it's important also to stimulate other sales. I find that when I start selling, everything starts moving. And I think maybe that there's some unseen forces in the universe and that this stimulates all the activity in our closets. And so I think that, and when I'm saying this, and I don't do this 100% of the time, so I'm just like everyone else. It's a judgment call. Every time you get an offer, every time you have an opportunity to reduce your margins in order to move your inventory. Don't you love it? Also known as don't be greedy. That's what it's about. And I think it's just really smart to ask yourself, is saving, I got to fix this whole glasses thing, but it ain't gonna happen today. Because see, if I don't have glasses on and I cannot, it's all blur, so I can't see anything. Okay. So I think you absolutely have to make a determination every day about what you want to hold out for. And for me to have held out for more than 500 on these shoes just would have been I don't think anybody would have recommended me do that. Because if you think about it, $500 is a lot for anything at any time on any platform, right? It's a major sale. It's so major, it's got to go through Posh Authenticate, you know? So yeah, and I have turned down $500 offers on things. I've turned down $1,000 offers on things, depending what the thing was. But these days, like I sold a Dolce & Gabbana black patent leather jacket the other day for like $575, and you know, there's a point at which people are really comfortable spending about $300. It gets less comfortable when you get up around $5. And over $5, you know, it's like a special area for people. And so I'm like, you know, I've had this coat I bought the coat years ago. It was my personal coat. I wore it exactly one time living in New York. I bought it at Loehmann's in the back room on the clearance rack. I probably paid $500 for it 7 years ago. So to be able to sell it for a little over $5 all these years later, knowing that my lifestyle has changed, knowing that I probably won't ever wear this thing again, why not get rid of it? It went to Japan. Life's over, and I reduced my margins and I got rid of it. And I think that's just an important thing to do. There were several things you reduced my margins on, Posh, because they were still really profitable. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. 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 You know, anything you make a penny on has become profitable. The question is, how profitable do you want it to be? I just feel off of eBay. Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, I mean, I knew someone or know someone who had a certain model of the grocery store model, I call it. They were into high volume, low amounts for the clothes. And this is what they would do. Now, I don't do this. This is an exhausting thing this person does, but they buy anywhere they can buy. Nordstrom outlets, Goodwill outlet. They don't actually go to Goodwill outlet, but thrift stores, wherever they can buy. 50% off days. They take this stuff and then they take it to like a Plato's Closet or a Crossroads or a Buffalo or whoever's buying clothes, right? And they turn it on the spot that day. And so let's say they spend $100 and after they buy whatever they're going to buy, they have 150. So they made $50. And that's how they earn their living. They literally don't try to sell the public. They don't try to sell to other people. They only sell to buy, sell, trade places. And which means they've got to get their inventory as cheap as possible. And they have to do a lot of hauling around and a lot of getting cash on the spot. And, you know, that is a model. That is a business model. And they take, you know, they buy something for $1 and sell it for $1.50 and they're happy. And that is not my model at all, but it works for them. So they're into the low margin, high volume business, and it works for them. And I think we've all got to ask ourselves, what are best practices? And if you go online and you do any kind of business studying, there are plenty of papers that have been written and experts. I'm no expert at all. I'm not an expert at all. I'm just someone who I know just a lot. I know just enough to be dangerous, you know. But anybody in business, there's plenty. This is business basics and business principles in action, and it's about margin and cash flow, and that's it. That's really that's it. That's it. And cost of goods sold, cost of your inventory. So everyone, no matter what they're selling, whether it's automobiles, whether it's, clothing, whether it's shoes, whether it's food, they all have the same issue. We have the same issue as every other business, which is acquiring inventory, moving it as fast as possible, and wanting our margins to be as high as possible. And so every time you don't let something flow, You're stopping the flow, you're stopping your cash flow. And, now that I have a business with a business partner, a consignment shop, it's all about cash flow. Because in the consignment model, you're always paying the money back to the consignor. And all of the expenses are coming out of your side. So all the fees, all the credit card, the eBay, the PayPal, whatever fee there is, the overhead, the lights, the insurance, the security, whatever there is, and it's a lot. And we've done a calculation. We need X amount of dollars just to open the door and unlock the key to break even per day. So we have a goal, a daily goal of a certain amount so that we can, in theory, be profitable each day. That's why daily sales are so important to people. But you can also have a day with low sales volume, but then the next day you make it up. Somebody comes in and, they wipe out your Chanel section, So there's a lot of peaks and valleys. That's why there's a lot of averaging that goes on in business, because it's a better way to look at things. So if you looked at what you did each day, it wouldn't tell the story. You got to average it out and look at it over a 30-day period to ask yourself, well, this is the kind of volume we're doing each month. This is the number of units we're pushing each month. This is the amount that's selling online each month. This is the amount that's in the store each month. Now, what do we do to improve that? How do we get more items to move faster at a higher price? And so if it's all just a matter of strategy and trying to figure out a model that can work for you and then work better. Because the whole idea is to get a model that's successful and then grow it and build it, right? So that you keep selling more units, you keep moving more merch. Let's see. Brick and mortars are really hard now. What's the challenge for brick and mortar, and I'm not going to use the word hard. I could, but I'm not going to use that word or the word greedy. The challenge for brick and mortar is that everybody gets paid before you for consignment. Landlord's getting paid. All your utilities are getting paid. Everybody gets paid first. The consignors even get paid. So everyone gets paid before you get paid, the owner. And that's the challenge of it. And I can absolutely see why brick and mortars are suffering, especially if they're not online. Being online is the single most important thing we did to be successful and not suffer as a brick and mortar. And we ask ourselves all the time, do we want to keep doing it like this? Do we want a second location? Do we want the expense of another location? Or do we want to expand on online platforms and keep the one location we have and make it more of a drop-off? We're always thinking about what to do with our business to scale it. And, when you look at how to earn more money in a month, you cannot ignore the fact that you have to have more to sell, more to choose from. And whether it's more new items to sell and choose from, or just more in general, like quantity, you need, instead of 2,000 pieces, you need 3,000 pieces. Those are all things that factor into your ability to sell well, and sell fast. Yeah, it's all about being online. I mean, that's where I am. That's where I shop. I need a new pair of shoes, and there aren't any my size in my store. And so I've been looking online because I don't have time to go anywhere. And in Pasadena, I can go to Macy's. There's nothing there. And I could go to Crossroads Trading, and there's nothing there. There's literally nowhere to go. I could go to TJ Maxx. Maybe I'd find a pair of shoes, but I'm probably not going to want them anyway. So order online. That's where everybody is. So anyway, that's all I got. This is my rave. This is my pet peeve. Don't use the word greedy. I think it's a misuse of the word. I think what you really should be saying is you've got to be mindful of your margins and ask yourself if you can take lower margins and move it on out of there. And that's a healthy way to think about your business. And that's all I got to say about that. Other pet peeves on another day, but I have to get on out of here and get to my store, get to selling. And it is Friday. So everybody have a good weekend. I hope to pop on more, hopefully have more good things to talk about, more sales and things like that. In the meantime, if you liked what you heard or saw today, please take a moment to sorry, this hair's got to go. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, leave comments, all that stuff helps. And I just appreciate your support very much. I do have a podcast on iTunes called Closet Conversations. I will link that once this video is over. The link is in my older videos. And a Facebook page called For the Love of Consignment, Resale, and Retail, where I post articles on the industry. And just we're all keep learning. Let's all keep learning together. Thank you for your support and have a nice day. I really appreciate you being here. Bye. Happy Friday.